Today we are going to be interviewing Lente, the indie dev of Spilled. So we'll be talking all about Spilled, what the game is about, but also how she's just done a fantastic job of marketing the game, of finding a connection with the audience through Twitter, or X if you want to call it that, and also having an amazing turnout on their Kickstarter. So I'm really looking forward to this one. Hello. Welcome. How are you doing?
Good. Good to be here.
Good. Glad to have you here. Thank you so much for giving up some of your precious time to talk to us about your awesome game. All right, so let's begin by simply introducing yourself. Who are you?
Well, my name is Lente. That is spring in Dutch. I'm 23 years old. I live in the Netherlands. And I live on a boat. That's a thing. So
Super cool.
yeah, that's a short introduction.
I love watching your boat updates because so you bought a boat, didn't you? And then you did it up completely. Was it livable when you bought it, or?
Livable, sure, but livable is a very broad term.
Yeah.
So no, not quite. Not nicely livable. So the boat was 10,000 euros, and then we put in another few thousand for renovations, but also a lot of like labor hours, like work. So
Labor of love. Yeah.
exactly.
Awesome. And if you don't mind me asking, why did you prefer to live on a boat over versus getting a flat or something like that?
Of course. I grew up on a ship with my parents. So it's always kind of been a dream of mine to get my own boat when I grow up. So yeah, simple answer, I guess.
This now makes a lot of sense. Your game is about boats. Your life has been about boats. You now live in
I
a
like
boat.
boats. Yeah.
Very nice, very nice. Jamie's asked, is it a canal boat?
Yeah. Yeah.
Nice, very, very nice. Okay, let's get on to talking about games, although boats are very cool. How
Anything is
long how long have you been developing games for?
games in general, I think since around 2016, but it's been pretty on and off throughout the years. Like some years even where I just wouldn't work on games at all. But yeah, quite some time, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
Was it?
But a lot of unfinished projects.
Yeah,
So my current game is really the first proper one that I'm gonna finish and release and stuff. So yeah.
gotcha. And so how did you develop the skills that you need to make games?
A lot of YouTube and stuff. If I wanted to make something, I would try my best to figure out how I could do it. And that often would be like the internet, YouTube and stuff. Yeah.
So you didn't go to university or like do a college course, it was all internet learning.
I would say so. I did go to college twice for game dev. I lasted a short year and I quit, and then the second time I lasted a few months. So it just wasn't for me.
Fair enough. Do you think that the learning style just didn't really fit how you like to learn yourself?
Yeah, I think so. The schools in particular also weren't perfect for me. Yeah, I just like to do my own thing. So I
Yeah.
have a hard time with a project or something that I don't really stand behind.
Got you.
Uh, I find that very hard to do. And school in general has been really hard for me, like throughout life. So
Fair enough,
I
yeah.
don't know what it is, but I don't know. I get by without for now. So
Yeah,
yeah,
I mean, you obviously can make games, so I think everyone learns differently, and you're right, school isn't for everyone. Can definitely be for some people, but not for everyone. So
of
thanks for
course.
sharing that.
Yeah.
And now we know a bit about you and how you absolutely adore boats. Tell us a bit about your game, Spilled. What is it about?
Um, Spilled is a game in which you clean up oil spills with a boat again. Um, it's a smaller game. In the game, you move through 8 areas. So you start in area 1, and there's very small oil spills. Um, how do you say this? You drive over them with your boat to suck them up, if you were. Then you can recycle the oil, buy upgrades, and then you move on to the next area, which has bigger oil spills and new challenges and stuff. And this kind of just keeps on going, that loop, until you're in the last level where the spills are really huge and,
Yeah,
it takes a lot more time to clean up and you need a better upgraded boat. And you don't really get punished too much. It's meant to be relaxing, cozy, yeah, stuff
definitely
like this.
cozy. Yeah, it is definitely cozy. Yeah,
That's
and
a good thing.
I love when I played it. So just for anyone watching who might not know, we did play this game on stream a couple of weeks ago, and it was quite subtle. I felt when you went from one level to the next, and it took me a couple
Yeah.
levels to realize that the spills were actually getting worse and the environments were getting more. And I liked
Yeah.
that, the realizing.
Okay.
Oh wait, I think everything's getting worse, and it was a really nice
Okay.
gradual change. So yeah, I think you're definitely your vision is coming to life and you're doing it very, very well. So yeah,
That's good. Good to hear.
yeah, it was good fun. But I do wonder, how did you come up with the concept for Spilled?
I'm really passionate about the subject, of course, like climate and nature.
Hmm.
Um, but the game idea specifically, I don't know how I don't know. It just popped up in me once, and I thought, wow, that's a really cool idea. Um, I do like similar games like this where you're like collecting and then upgrading, and then stuff gets harder. You need to keep upgrading and stuff. I like those type of games, so I think a combination of all these things.
Are there any
But
games?
no, I can't pinpoint an exact like moment or and how like why oil spills and why with the boat. Okay, maybe the boat part made sense, but yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Making a game is never easy and it's not going to be something that you complete in 6 months. So if you're going to dedicate years of your life to a game, why not it be a game about something that you're very passionate about and something that you love, which is boats
Yeah,
and the world
yeah,
and
for
yeah.
sure.
So it makes
No, for sure.
makes
It
sense.
um it wasn't my idea to have it take years. It's been a year now, so it's not crazy yet, but I was aiming for like 6 months. That's what I was hoping, and now it's a year, and um, I'm almost done, but it will probably take another small year to really polish it and figure everything out. Console release maybe, and everything that comes with it. So,
Yeah, yeah. I honestly don't know anyone
it's
who has managed to stick to an original deadline, especially when they're making
no
a game.
in
It's
game. No, it's impossible.
yeah,
No, I hope to get a little better at it with a potential next project maybe, but I won't expect too much from it. But again, I don't mind it that much because Spilled is doing well and I've really found a community around it and stuff, so
yeah,
it's not that bad.
yeah, yeah. And next question is, oh, I was gonna say, how long has this game been in development for? But you already told us, so you said it was just over a year now.
Uh, I think so, yeah. Yeah, pretty much a year, around a year now. Yeah.
Yeah, and I wonder around this question, when you started developing Spilled, were you focusing on, well, I'll ask you, what were you focusing on? how did you start developing Spilled?
Oh, I did not know at all at the start which way I wanted to go with it.
Yeah.
But I started with just making a prototype, a little boat, and an oil spill, and the upgrading.
So that tiny little prototype from a little boat and a little oil spill has now turned into what you can see on the screen. I've got a little
Yeah,
clip of your trailer on loop now, and it's so cool how something so
a nice
small, a
toy.
little idea, can expand into something bigger. And so you touched on it briefly before. You said that this is your first game, but that you made quite a few like unfinished projects before. How long do you think it took you to actually commit to the idea of Spilled and stop just making like endless prototypes that don't go anywhere?
Well, it's intertwined a lot with my personal life and issues and stuff. So I don't know, I guess I was just now at a good place in my life where I felt ready for this and confident enough and with school as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's a journey. It's been a journey.
Got
Yeah.
you. I like that insight actually because I haven't heard anyone speak about it like that, but it's yeah, like committing to something, like even an idea that you're going to spend a lot of time on. It's not only a work related thing, but it can also be related to how you feel in your personal life and your mental state at the
Totally.
time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Hmm.
It's it's all intertwined with personal development as well. Like I never really knew what I wanted to do. Like I knew I liked making games, but I didn't know what that meant
Yeah.
for me. And now more and more I know that I like being independent. Um, yeah.
Yeah. How are you currently funding the dev of your game? So throughout the last year, how's
Yeah.
that been?
So quitting school was quite a conscious decision. So I knew for quite a while before that I would probably quit school. So I was saving up my school loan, which is, like slightly sketchy maybe, but I don't know. But that actually got me through most of last year, because I was living with my mom mostly as well. So it is. And eventually I got a job at a supermarket, um, for about 2 months. I recently quit again because my Kickstarter for the game is doing really well. So
Ooh.
yeah, that's it.
Amazing. I just,
So I'll be able to continue for quite a bit now, I think.
yeah,
At least until release. And then after, well, no one knows, but let's hope then I can continue for a bit as well, working on another game. Yeah,
amazing.
that's the indie life, I guess.
Yeah, I guess that's
Yeah,
the downsides to being indie is that your future isn't in concrete ever. But the good
yeah,
sides are you get the freedom, you know, everything else that you were saying.
yeah. And there's also opportunity for things to go really big. Like
Yes.
there's infinite opportunities and possibilities.
The
So
unknown
yeah.
is scary, but it could mean very, very good things. So, yeah.
Yeah, for sure. I think so too.
I think it's so cool that you got a job in a supermarket as well. As creatives, and I've had discussions with my own friends who work in the film space, but then they were trying to do freelance and they went through a dry
Yeah.
patch of no jobs, and we were talking about how strange it is to like get a job, a normal job, to like help us do our creative thing, and it can seem like this weird, I don't know how to explain it. It feels like something that is misplaced, but really it's not because it's just income at the end of the day that's going to help you do what you want to do.
Yeah. And for me, I prefer like a totally different job part-time next to my passion instead of a job that kind of vaguely incorporates my passion, but in a way that, ah, like, I'd rather work at the supermarket than work a programming job on the side, for instance, because I want to put my focus on making games and on my passion. And if I did something like programming on the side or some other way of making money, I would have to focus on that as well a lot. And in the supermarket, I can just show up and work and then leave. And, like all my mental space is still reserved for working on the game.
That's really smart. Yeah, you keep your
Yeah.
creative energy reserved for what you want to spend it on. Because yeah, when I was working at Creative Assembly, oh my gosh, like jobs like where you have to do devy stuff and then you get home and do devy stuff and your brain is like, I don't
Yeah.
want to do devy stuff. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. That's what I was afraid of.
yeah,
So,
yeah,
yeah.
definitely, definitely. But I do wonder, what is the most challenging part, in your opinion, of being a solo indie dev?
Probably staying consistent, just working on the game every day, even if you don't really feel like it. Uh, of course, you don't have to do as much every day, but yeah, you have to be somewhat consistent, I feel. Because you have your own future in your hands. So yeah, you can't just be too relaxed about it. At least not at the start. That's how I feel.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I guess you have to be not only the developer, but also the producer, the social media
Yeah,
person.
you have to
Like,
be your own boss. Like you have to
yeah,
tell yourself, like, hey, you go work now. Yeah,
exactly.
and that's
Yeah.
hard sometimes.
Do you
Um,
do you have a schedule that you stick to or anything like that?
um, it's ever evolving. Like at the start, like right after quitting school, I would work like 12 hours a day, which is crazy. It's not healthy. And now I've come down to around 4 or 5 hours a day, and I can allocate those however I like throughout the day. But I prefer mornings to work because that's when I have the most energy. Often in the afternoon or evening, I can be pretty tired.
Do you give yourself like mini deadlines for little things that you want to get done, or is it just take it day by day?
Um, I have quite a few documents, like having everything lined out, what needs to be done, but I don't really work with strict deadlines. So it takes however long it has to take. I don't like deadlines that much, so I try to avoid them.
Gotcha.
That's also why I think I've avoided working with some people because then it would introduce deadlines, or working with publishers or something where they want results before a certain date, and it just stresses me out too much
Yeah.
because yeah, it's so hard for me to know how long things will take. So yeah,
Oh, yes, I feel you there. Yeah.
pushed back my internal release date for the game like 5 times now, but I haven't told anyone about it on purpose, of course. So yeah, we'll see.
Yeah. Oh, honestly, hearing you say that is so self-affirming. So thank you.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
I am the same. Even with little things like music videos, I'm like, this will take me X amount of time, and then it's usually double or maybe triple. So
Yeah.
is what it is. Just before we leave this question, do you have any tips for any other solo dev out there who might be feeling a little bit overloaded with workload and overwhelmed because of that?
I would say try to find balance where you're at. I've met a lot of indie developers that try to work on their game all the time just to get it out, um, in hopes to then reach some, how do you say it, get some money. Um, but I don't know, like maybe even get a part-time job if that means you will be able to work on the game more relaxed and give yourself more time. Uh, that's I hope that gets my point across. That's not the smoothest execution I was hoping for, but
No, no, it
yeah,
is.
yeah.
The
something
key
like
word was balance, I think, that you said.
yeah, like
Yeah.
don't overwork yourself just to reach a goal. It has to be healthy along the way, the journey as well. And I know that won't be perfect. Like if you have to get a part-time job, of course you don't want to, but it can bring a little more balance, I think, to your life.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's good
And
advice.
even if that means things taking longer in the end, like so be it, I think. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
better to have the game out that you're very proud of than to rush it just because you didn't want to get a part-time job or whatever
Yeah,
else.
yeah,
Yeah.
this as well. This as well. Yeah.
Absolutely. Okay. So the first marketing-based question is, what, if any, do you have a current marketing strategy for Spilled at all?
No, I wouldn't call it a strategy, I guess. No, that's too broad of a question, I think. Uh,
Is there
no.
so
Um,
when you make your posts, is it just kind of like whatever you feel like sharing today?
I mean, what I do is when I work on a game, I keep track. Like I have a document called socials or something, and just anytime I think, okay, that would make a good post. Often that is just a new feature I made for the game. I'll write it down and I'll make a tweet about it someday.
Gotcha.
Uh,
So it sounds like you actually just really enjoy marketing anyway, which is
I
good.
do. I really just do. It's fun. It's very creative for me as well. Like what will work on social media. It often just comes down to content, like making something cool, making something unique. Uh, yeah, for that in and of itself, you just have to be creative, which I
Yeah.
really enjoy.
Yeah, creative and have a really good grasp on, I guess, the creative vision of what you're making, which you know exactly what you're making. It's, I want to make a game about cleaning up oil spills and, about this topic that I'm very passionate about, and then everything connects to that. I mean, even the UI. Yeah, that's cool. And what platforms do you share your game dev updates on? Is it just Twitter?
Yeah, mostly Twitter. I tried other things as well, like TikTok, but I don't know. I didn't quite get it, and I wasn't able to get the same like results I had on Twitter. So I'm sure I could if I put in the effort because it's just a very different platform. But in the end, I think I like Twitter the best because you can build a bit of a community on TikTok as well. But I feel it's a little better on Twitter. Um, so yeah.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I don't know about you, but I hear a lot of advice where people tell you like to spread yourself thin and put yourself over every single platform. And I find that can be really overwhelming, especially to people who are,
Very.
yeah, who their
Yeah.
main thing, like really your main thing is you're a game developer. You're not a social media marketing. That's not what you want to spend 8 hours a day on. So
I mean, I do enjoy it, but yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
So doing one or two or even just one, like you're doing one platform and you're really making that work and building a community there. That's
yeah.
helping you way more than if you were spreading it over loads and then not really
I think so.
forming as much of a community. So yeah.
Yeah, you can really specialize on one platform and learn on that platform what works best. Yeah.
And so, how much do you think social media has aided in marketing your game?
I think I have everything to thank really to social media. There's of course like the direct marketing, people seeing the game on Twitter for my post and then wishlisting it or whatever. But there's also indirect things like me being invited to events and stuff, or making connections with people,
Yeah.
or publishers reaching out because I have I don't know, because they see the game and like, hey, it's performing well. And so, yeah, in the end, I think it all comes back to social media.
everything, full stop.
I think so. I mean, I'm not handing out flyers or something, so uh, I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah. I wonder what type of social media posts garner more attention. Have you noticed any of your posts doing significantly better than others based
Yeah.
on their topic?
At the start, and probably now as well, I just don't do it as much anymore. Making threads on Twitter was really great. So I would have a new feature in my game, and then using, I don't know if people that don't know what threads is, like multiple tweets attached to each other. Jesus, multiple tweets attached to each other, explaining this new feature and how I made it, and that did really well. And what I find also works really well is celebrating with people on Twitter. Like if something really good happens, like going to Twitter and telling people about it and
Mm.
sharing your happiness. And usually people really want to celebrate it with you. And yeah, that
Yeah.
works.
Yeah, 'cause you've been doing that a lot with your Kickstarter, and I've been like,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, I'm looking at your post like, oh my God, that's amazing.
I'm so happy it's worked out well because well, you never know beforehand. Like I figured I would make posts like this. Like if the Kickstarter was going well, I would post about it on Twitter and then maybe create this like endless loop. So yeah, I'm happy that kind of worked out.
Yeah, yeah. So I wonder, I know you enjoy it, so that's really good to hear that you enjoy it. But how much time does
Yeah.
marketing consume for you on like a weekly basis? Obviously, this is just an approximation.
Yeah. It fluctuates so much. Now with the Kickstarter, everything is different as well.
Yeah.
Uh, but I used to have a pretty solid schedule where like one day out of the week I would focus on social media and marketing. And often that would just mean preparing posts and stuff, scheduling posts for the next week after. Um, but now more and more I've loosened that up a little and focused more on quality over quantity. Um, so yeah, I I just post now whenever I feel I have something cool to show.
Um, okay, so this is a bit of a different question.
Yeah,
I was on a little route on all of your links and what you offer, and I noticed that you've got a dev kit for Spilled. Um,
yeah,
I was just wondering, or a press kit, I think.
yeah,
So
that's what it is.
yeah,
Yeah,
press kit, yeah.
yeah.
So would you recommend that indie devs make a press kit, and what needs to be included in a press kit?
Um, yeah, I would say so. It's relatively easy to make. There's tools for it. Um, I don't know, pictures of your game, trailer, logos, um, I don't know, things like this. Just anything you can give about your game, really. Uh,
What are the tools?
the
Do you
idea,
remember?
the idea is that people can write about your game or make videos about your game. So just give them anything that would make that easier, anything you feel you want to show off to the internet, I guess. Cool stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah. It's not my main focus, like press and stuff. It's not the most interesting thing to me. But it was advice to me, and I could see how it could be really beneficial. So I made
yeah,
one. Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, no, that's good to know. You mentioned there are some press kit tools. Do you remember any of the names of those tools or
Yes, I can recommend Press Kitty. I think that's what it's called.
press kitty?
Yeah. The person that owns it is really nice and approachable through his Discord server, and he's always willing to help out. So I can recommend them.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Okay, cool. I was just wondering, how early in development do you think an indie dev should start thinking about marketing their game? Like from day one or a little bit further in?
Like day minus 30 or something. I don't know. Like way before, ideally. That's what I would say anyway. Like, especially if you're an indie, like if you're a solo indie anyway, like you're making a product, right? So it has to be sold as well. So you should be thinking beforehand, like, what am I gonna make and how is it gonna sell? And I don't know, that sounds kind of boring, and like the terms product and selling are not the best terms for this, but yeah, kind of like this.
That
And
makes
you
complete
want people to
sense.
play the game, right? So yeah, even for that reason, not about money, but if you just want people to play the game, you should make something that's cool and new and something that people want. So yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, like in the business world, you hear like USP, unique. Unique. Oh, I can't even remember what that stands for now. USP, unique selling point. That's
I
the
see.
one.
Right.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
yeah, it makes sense. It's like a what about your game makes it stand out from the
Yeah.
rest, and why would someone want to play this game?
Yeah.
You know.
And
Um,
it's
yeah.
I want to clarify, like, it's totally okay if you just make a game like for yourself or for your friends or for just a few people. But yeah, don't expect it to do crazy well or stuff. I think. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I think the way that you're doing it, I I just really admire because you know exactly what type of game you want to make, and you are making it for you essentially because
Oh yeah,
it's for a
totally.
cause.
It's my game.
Yeah,
Like, it just happens to be also a game that I thought would do pretty well
yeah,
with people. So yeah,
yeah.
that was a great combination, I think.
Yeah, and it resonates with others because I think, especially now, people are caring more and more about climate change and helping the world. It's a very important topic. So yeah, like you're bound
Yeah,
to get people want to play your game and know more about it. And it's
yeah,
different. I don't think I've ever seen a game about oil spills and boats cleaning them up before. So yeah. I
yeah.
mean, there might be something out there, but I don't know.
It's really fun to me to try to think of something unique and cool that people haven't seen before. That's really fun to me. Yeah.
Yeah. Um, so before we open up to a Q&A section, so get ready chat, we will be answering those questions in a bit. I have seen some people have been dropping some in every now and then. One more question, and it's just what tips would you share for other indie devs to help garner interest in their games? So I guess we talked about it just now, but if someone's making a game, they haven't actually thought about marketing yet, and they're listening to us and they're going, oh no, I didn't think about marketing. What tips would you give them now to help them market their
Yeah.
game?
Hello. Try to show it to as many people as you can. And maybe if it turns out that it doesn't give people that like wow effect or that spark, then maybe move on and try to make many prototypes at the start. Like, if you have an idea, like, don't spend too long on actually developing it and just make a simple version. And if that ends up doing really well or gets people really excited, then you can continue on further developing it. But for the people that have been working on a game for 2 years and there's no interest yet so far and no marketing, I find that really hard. I find that really hard because often it's also such a personal project.
Yeah.
So you can't just say like, okay, maybe try something else. Like that's really hard to say. So no, I don't know. For those people, I don't know.
Yeah.
I haven't figured that out yet. It's yeah.
Now we will go to the Q&A sections. The first one from Young Crumpet is, how does it feel to develop and market your game in English as opposed to your native Dutch? That's actually a really interesting question.
Yeah. I grew up with games. And games were often in English, and as soon as I got access to the internet, I was there like a lot. So English really is has become a second language for me. So I don't think about it anymore. No, I don't think about it anymore.
Cool.
A boring answer, maybe. Sorry.
No.
It's a non-issue. Yeah.
And DC Bradshaw has asked a question. They said they really like how language free your game is, which is a very good point. We all actually noticed that when we were playing the game that there's no text or anything, and even the tutorial was so cool because it was just little imagery, and that was such a nice subtle way to do that. So yeah, we were all very impressed with that. So yeah, it's got little tutorial animations with no text. Was that something that you intentionally meant to do? And so it was automatically multilingual and you didn't have to worry about it.
Yes. For simplicity's sake, but also just to make it very approachable and accessible for everyone, no matter their language or age. Oh, yeah. And I think in design in general, it's a good idea to make things as easily understandable as possible.
Yeah, so thank you so much for spending some time with us today. It's been really nice to get to know you more and to hear about Spilled and the background of Spilled a little bit more as well. So where can people play Spilled and where can they support the game as well?
There's a demo on Steam, so you can play it there for free. You can also wishlist it there, so you'll be reminded when it's out, when it's released. Steam will send you an email. And if you want, you can check out my Kickstarter. Just Google Build Kickstarter and you'll get there. That's also a good like starting point to learn about what I do and my story and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, and if you do decide to support the Kickstarter, you get lots of lovely little emails about the updates of the games as well that Lente does. So yeah, and also, where can we find more about you and yourself as a human being?
So Twitter, I probably post a bit. My newsletter, which you can sign up through my website. It's lente.me, as in Lente me. And you can join my Discord server. I think that's where I'm most like just myself hanging out with people. So yeah,
Cool.
that's it.
Where can they find your Discord?
It's on my website as well.
Cool. Good
Yeah.
to know. Well, thank you so much again for your time. I won't take up too much more. I know you've been deving all day long, so so yeah, thanks again.
Okay. Yeah, it's been fun.
Yeah, and best of luck for the future of Spilled and your future as well. Yeah,
Thank you.
look forward to seeing more.
Yeah, I'll share more for sure.
Awesome.
All right.
All right, goodbye.
Bye.
Thanks again for coming.
Yep.
And there we go. That was our interview with the lovely Lente. I learned so much about Spilled. I honestly just really appreciate their focus. They know what they're making, and she's not afraid to like get a part-time job if she has to, or take a little bit more time. Deadlines, what are deadlines? It seems like a very healthy way to game dev. Not put too much pressure on yourself, which I know as creatives, you don't even have to be a game dev. You could be a musician, you could be a writer, you could be whatever you want to be, and you'll probably put a lot of pressure on yourself to get things finished quickly at a great standard, while also sharing every little part of it and doing everything on your own. So it's nice to talk to someone who is a little bit more laid back about that, and I'm sure Lente has their moments where everything can be a bit overwhelming, as we all can. But I think it's really nice to remember that. Just remember, what are you making? Why are you making it? What is the purpose of what you're making? And not get too carried away. So have a lovely day or evening. I will chat to you very soon. And goodbye. Thanks again for watching. Bye.